Good afternoon. It's an afternoon. I, we're a bit late, but it's always a pleasure to talk at Fleiplar Composites. I learned a lot. I developed a lot with the professionals in this area. It's a lot of technology, so it's always a privilege to be with you to talk about adhesives. I have a reflection about the adhesive for bolts. It's a chat, just a chat with you about something that I always thought about, but I never told anyone. I've always think about that since the beginning of my career. It may make sense to you, but if it doesn't, you may say, I don't agree. We have a booth here. We can talk. There is a discussion that is not going to finish now. It may finish in our booth with a coffee, with talk, and talking about technology. What I bring to you is the best way to unite composites is in the nautical market is by structural adhesives. I'm going to talk about it for 15 minutes. If I can convince you that it makes sense, for some it makes sense, for others it may not make sense, and for some in part. So let's see if all that makes sense. My name is Gabriel. I'm a mechanical engineer then I did master's degree in polymers with thermoplastic composites. I worked at Parker Lord. I started as a trainee. Now I'm a super engineering of application supervisor. I worked with sales and now I work with application engineering. About the nautical market, I always think about the importance of what we do now in the future. In this market, it's about an evolution of mankind. Most importantly, whenever we think about evolution, we always correlate it with the development of new materials. So the Egyptians, the Romans, they dominated new material so that they could dominate the water. That was an evolution. And back in those times, at that time, we started with this type of boat made of wood. It's a natural composite wood. So it's a raft. So we are repeating today what we did in the past, and then it's very complex. That evolved. So we started with rafts. They they have the trireme that had rows, and then they had the vessels made of wood and depending of wind. And now we got to the caravels. They were easier and faster, but they depended on the wind and on roars. The highlight was when we got to the steamboats that made a dream come true. That was to move through waters not depending on wind. And then from then on it's history. So you who work with composites in boats, in vessels, I'm going to talk to you about the yachts and the speedboats made of composites. They have evolved. They were different, and now they are done by composite material, and that's an evolution. It's very complex. Then I talk to you about my reflection. The best way to unite composites is by structural adhesive. Why? First of all, why do we use composites in the nautical market? For infinite reasons. But I got three, and they made a lot of sense. Make a lot of sense. It reduces weight. Weight. These are lighter materials. They can build lighter parts It's easier to move, to remove. So that's what the composites give you. They're very versatile. They allow these differentiated designs, daring designs. You can create new designs working with composites. It's very versatile and corrosion resistant. They're reinforced polymers by nature, and they can withstand corrosion. What is the proposal value of the structural adhesive for the nautical market? Same slide. Adhesives is the same thing. Adhesives reduce weight, low density. It's used in engineering projects to reduce weight. It's made for that. Versatile, a lot. I consider that being versatile, it's the must of structural adhesive because it allowed these designers to think about different materials, metal, ceramics, plastics, all that was possible by a single element, by a structural adhesive. Obviously, it's a polymer, and because it's a polymer, it's resistant to corrosion. It's the main benefit of a composite. The same package. Maybe I would sell adhesive as you sell composite. I can't say because I don't sell it. But it seems to be similar. Did it make sense? So what is a composite? Let's talk about theory. Theory helps us. Theory is very important. Just in practice, practice is all there is, but when you practice, you understand the theory. Composite is made up of two components. The first one, a continuous matrix that transmits forces to the reinforcement in a dispersed phase, which are the reinforcements. Look at this picture. If I take a structural adhesive and look at inside it, because from the outside it seems to be simple. Adhesive is a resin reinforced by several components. If you put it under the microscope, the image that you will see will be similar. So the value of proposal value, the proposed value is the same. So my great discovery over the years, gluing the hull, the reinforcement structure on the hull. So this is our parameter. Check with me. For you to do this process with resin and fiber, you will need 200 kilos resin, 100 kilos glass fiber type 1, 130 kilos type 2 glass fiber, and 6 operators working 8 hours each. So you have 430 kilos of material that you need to do this connection, and 48 hours of labor, of man hour. And we see that in the nautical market. And with the adhesive, look at that. The process is cleaner, but it doesn't matter. 70 kilos of adhesive, zero fiber type 1, zero fiber type 2, 3 operators, and 3 hours per operator, 9 hours. 75 kilos of adhesive, 9 man hours. So let's compare. So you eliminate glass fiberglass. You reduce the number of people doing that process. You can use people for something else. And you reduce the processing time. This comparison, which is gluing instead of laminating, generates a reduction in weight of 355 kilos. It's a real case. Productivity increased in 81%. Cost was reduced 20%. Maybe you don't make boats this size, but you can think about your idea. Wouldn't your idea create reductions like that? Didn't it make sense? if I convinced you or not that the best way to unite composites is with adhesive, I ask you, if it's with adhesive we're going to join them, why don't we use structural adhesives by Parker Lord? And I ask you because I don't work in sales, not anymore. Because Parker Lord does that over 50 years in Brazil. It produces in Brazil. We manufacture here. We didn't start now. That was 50 years ago. We develop locally, so we know what each customer in Brazil needs to make an adhesive according to the local needs, because we know it's different. Brazil is different. And we need scientists to understand that what the Brazilian customers need to bring the proper innovation. And we have a line of adhesives that are special for vessels developed in Brazil, only in Parker Lord, Brazil, made by Brazilian scientists. This adhesive is a bicomponent acrylic, highly adhesive to metals, it doesn't run off during application. Of course, in each application has a requirement. It needs a type of adhesive, so we change that according to the application, but there is no runoff. There is a less handling time. It has a less production process, and it's developed in Brazil, in the city of Jundiaí. This is its application. The application you can test in your process. We have samples in Brazil that can be made available for you. It's a matter of understanding the benefits to do the application or to test it. I see that the nautical market has evolved. You live evolution every day in the nautical market. This evolution is accompanied by the structural adhesives. The discussion, if it's a better method for binding, it's going to continue, but when you are going to innovate, you can count on the structural adhesives. Thank you very much.